Everything changed for a young content creator when he finally understood this philosophy. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your online metrics. That is the simple philosophy that saves careers in the digital age. If you work hard chasing algorithms, you might make a living, which is fine. But if you work hard on yourself, on your value, your authenticity, your voice, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. For years, this creator chased virality, but nothing seemed to change. Then, he started working hard on himself. In this video, we'll dive into the profound, inspiring, and transformative insights from the great Jim Rohn, drawing from lessons I cherished from our time together. This lesson isn't just about business, it's about the fundamental physics of life. As Jim Rohn often shared with me, success is not something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. Think about that. Really let it sink in. We spend almost all our waking hours in pursuit, chasing the next milestone, the next subscriber goal, the next trending sound, the next 7-second hook formula that promises to capture the algorithm's favor. The modern entrepreneur, especially the digital creator, is trained to be a hunter. We hunt for engagement. We track analytics like prey. We live in a constant state of cortisol-fueled pursuit, refreshing the dashboard, hoping the numbers went up, feeling that familiar cold pit in our stomach when they inevitably go down. We are relentlessly pursuing success, and it is exhausting us. It's hollowing us out, turning our passion into a painful chore. We become digital ghosts performing for a machine. The creator I mentioned felt this in his very bones. He was talented, he was ambitious, and he was completely and utterly miserable. He'd spend days, weeks, crafting a single video, obsessing over the hook, the editing pace, the sound design, the exact saturation of the colors in his thumbnail, only to watch it get fewer views than a random, zero-effort video of a cat falling off a table. He was pursuing relentlessly, but success was actively eluding him, because he was chasing the wrong thing entirely. He was working hard on his job, the videos, the optimization, the endless promotion, the comments he forced himself to reply to. But he wasn't working on the single most important asset in his entire business, himself. The whole scope of this, my friends, is personal development. Jim Rohn's insight on this was that you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. It's a simple equation. If you can multiply your value as a person, your skills, your discipline, your mindset, your empathy, your ability to communicate a complex idea with simple clarity, you can easily multiply your income or your views or your impact. The external reward is just a mirror, a reflection of your internal value. But here is the real challenge. The work of creating content, editing, posting, optimizing, that work is fairly easy. It's technical, it's predictable. The truly difficult part, the part that separates the fleeting amateurs from the enduring legends, is working hard on yourself. It's looking in the mirror, away from the validation of the screen, and asking the hard questions. Why am I so reluctant to film today when I know I should be excited? Why do I scroll on social media for 2 hours, feeding my envy, instead of reading a book that would expand my mind? Why do I let one single negative comment from a stranger completely derail my entire day, my entire week? This is the dilemma. It's not the algorithm that's holding you back. It's not the competition. It's not the market. It's the profound, uncomfortable, and non-negotiable difficulty of mastering yourself. I remember watching this young creator struggle. His workspace, once a place of creativity, had become a battlefield of anxiety. The sound of notifications, once exciting, now echoed in the quiet room. each ping a tiny, agonizing jolt of hope or despair. The air was thick and heavy, smelling of stale coffee and the metallic ozone from his overworked computer fan. The muffled click-clack of his mechanical keyboard was the only rhythm of his life, a frantic tapping against an indifferent system. His eyes, dry and strained from the constant blue light, darted between his editing timeline and the live analytics page. He was a prisoner, shackled to the refresh button. He was chasing. He decided to put everything he had into one last video. He called it the Grind Manifesto. It had every trick in the book: drone shots, kinetic typography, fast cuts synced to licensed music, a hook modeled after the biggest channels in his niche. It was technically perfect and emotionally hollow. He posted it, his heart pounding so hard he could feel it in his temples. He had analyzed the trends, used the perfect keywords, and stayed up for 72 hours straight editing it. He launched it. And then, a profound, echoing nothing. Crickets. The view count stalled at 112. The only comments that trickled in were brutal. Another one. Dude, just give up. You're trying way too hard. It's desperate. This feels like every other video on my feed. But one comment from a fellow creator he once admired, a man named Alex, whom he had collaborated with and shared his early dreams with, cut the deepest. Alex wrote publicly for everyone to see. Look at the great entrepreneur. Traded your soul for the algorithm and still couldn't buy a view. You dishonored the craft. Your mentors would be ashamed. That was the moment of absolute catastrophe. The betrayal was a physical pain, sharper than the humiliation. He stared at the words, the room spinning. He had given everything to his job, and his job had given him nothing back but public ridicule from someone he once called a friend. He was ready to delete his channel, throw his laptop against the wall, and just stop. The pursuit had failed. He was a hunter returning with no food, starving and defeated. That night, completely defeated, he wasn't scrolling for trends. He was searching for an answer. Anything. He typed, "Why am I failing?" into the search bar. And somehow, buried in the results, was a grainy video of an old seminar. It was Jim Rohn. He clicked, and he heard that phrase, that simple philosophy: learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Then came the knockout punch, the words that rearranged his entire world. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. It was like a bolt of lightning, as Jim would say, splitting the dark sky of his despair. He suddenly saw it all. He wasn't an artist. He was a copyist. He wasn't a creator. He was a commodity. He had been chasing the validation of the crowd instead of earning the respect of his own conscience. He realized the truth. The pain wasn't punishment. It was a professor. The cruel comments, even Alex's betrayal, weren't just hurt. They were a protection, a violent, necessary push away from the path of inauthenticity he was dying on. He had been trying to get success. He realized in that moment he had to become success. Jim Rohn's voice filled the room again, as if speaking directly to him. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. The next day he did the unthinkable. He turned off all notifications on all his devices. The silence was deafening and beautiful. He logged out of his analytics accounts. He took a blank piece of paper and instead of writing video ideas, he wrote, "Who do I need to become?" For the next 3 months, he vanished from the online world. He didn't post. He didn't scroll. He didn't even reply to emails. He worked harder on himself than he ever had in his entire life. He bought a simple black notebook and started a journal. The first 10 pages were just angry, chaotic scribbles, venting his frustration at Alex, at the algorithm, at himself. But then, page 11, the tone shifted. He started asking questions. What do I actually believe? What do I really want to say? He read books, not blog posts, but books. Philosophy, psychology, human nature, the art of rhetoric. He studied how to build an argument, how to tell a story that wasn't just a hook, but had a heart. He practiced public speaking in front of a mirror, learning to control his voice, to eliminate the filler words, to speak from a place of genuine conviction. He failed day after day. His first attempts at journaling were just angry rants. He tried to record himself just for practice and deleted the footage immediately, disgusted by his own inauthenticity. He almost quit 10 times. The fear of being forgotten, the FOMO, was a physical itch under his skin, screaming at him to check his stats, to post something, anything, to not be forgotten. But he held the line. He was building the attraction. He was becoming the person someone would want to listen to, not just click on. When he finally returned, 3 months later, he was a different man. He didn't set up his fancy drone or his RGB lights. He sat in his chair with natural light from the window, turned on the camera, and he spoke. He didn't use a script. He just spoke. He started with an apology, not to his audience, but to himself for losing his way. He talked about his burnout, his obsession with metrics. He talked about the grind manifesto and its failure. He even read the comment from Alex, the betrayal, and he didn't mock him. He thanked him for showing him the truth. He didn't ask for likes. He didn't mention subscribing. He didn't have a call to action. He just shared his profound, simple realization from Rohn. He asked for conversation. He was terrified. It was the most vulnerable, unoptimized, anti-algorithm video he had ever made. He posted it and walked away. He didn't check the stats. The next day he logged in, not to the analytics page, but to the comments, and his world changed again. There were hundreds. Not great video or first, they were paragraphs. I thought I was the only one who felt this way. This video saved me from quitting today. I'm a creator and I was crying by the end of this. You just described my last 2 years. This is the first time I've felt hope in months. Thank you. The creator had stopped pursuing viewers, and by becoming a more authentic, skilled, valuable and vulnerable communicator, he had started attracting an audience. His subscriber count began to climb, not in sharp, anxious spikes, but with a steady, powerful, unstoppable momentum. His analytics dashboard told a new story. His view counts were solid, but his watch time had doubled, then tripled. People weren't just clicking, they were listening. Brands reached out, and for the first time, they didn't send him a script. They said, "We love your message. We want to be associated with your voice." He was no longer just a creator. He had become a source. He had made a fortune of trust, of impact, and of genuine human connection, which, as it happens, was soon followed by the financial fortune as well. He even started a small private mentorship group for other burnt-out creators. He called it The Garden. He was passing on the lesson. This is the lesson. Stop chasing the butterflies. Build a garden and let the butterflies come to you. The garden is your personal development. It's your mindset. It's your integrity. It's your communication skills. It's your resilience in the face of the 11 or 12 miserable people Jim Rohn always joked were wandering the earth. It's the hard, quiet, unglamorous work you do on yourself when no one is watching. If this lesson resonates with you, if you feel trapped in the endless, exhausting pursuit, I want you to make a declaration. Write in the comments, "I will work on myself." It's a promise, not to me, but to your future self. It's the beginning of building your garden. And if you want more content like this, more lessons to help you build that garden, subscribe to this channel now. The world, my friends, belongs to those who become attractive. The world belongs to you, not when you master the algorithm, but when you master yourself. That is the enduring legacy of this simple, powerful advice. Jim always believed that the greatest revolution was the personal one. It's the one that starts inside, in the quiet, when you decide to become more than you are. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Jim Rohn's profound wisdom. Apply these insights to your own path. Subscribe for more transformative content, like if this inspired you, and share your thoughts in the comments below.